Yeah, I think it's my second grab eat ever. I think I've eaten like 4 or 5 different Hans Olts.
Okay, so if you just go to like the center, so basically in this on this map,
Oh, give me.
on all maps there are
Who
ideal
charge doesn't
routes
matter
there
who I
are
am.
go like Reiner, go main tank. Um, on all maps there are ideal paths of attack for each composition. So
Yeah, I know
specifically,
Reinhardt wants to go white because you told me
yeah.
that.
So Reiner like goats comes want to go micro. Like dive comes want to come over the bridge
Sorry.
because pharmacy gets like a ton of damage onto point and onto the bridge and loops. Normally on most, if not all maps, there are like 2 or 3 modes of attack. Um, on in Lupus, for example, it's going left at the choke. Um,
Hmm.
is going straight to point. There's going up the stairs, and each is ideal based on what you're running and what the enemy's team running. So you should have you will have a basic understanding of where enemy teams like to set up based on what comp they're running um for control point maps. It's very similar to your method of attack is very similar to your method of like defense, because the reason you go white room as a Reinhardt composition is because Farah can get no boost. It's a very constricted area. You have just this corridor to fight in, whereas if
Yeah.
you come over the bridge, you have to fight all the way around the cylinder. There's a ton of LOS and snipers and Farah. So the same way is that a goat's comp would like to sit um in would like to stay together and in a relatively small area. Like you won't be seeing a goat's comp going out and fighting in this area so much. Uh 1 second. Um so yeah, you won't be seeing a ghost comp fight in here too much. Um and so for I'm gonna show for another control point map.
Hmm.
Um,
Now
just
arriving at
another.
Lidang Camp.
So, but like for this one, we can go like right. We can go
Okay.
left.
So yeah, this
I
is
think it's
another. So let's just go into the main.
100%.
So basically right now we're just recording for basics of positioning and methods of attack for each point. So each one in particular. Especially this one, it's when this reason why it built is so strong in here is because other than this very small corridor is
yeah.
what you have to go through to get to point. So which means you have to fight through this tiny door. And once again you have since
Sorry.
since there's no good methods of attack or die, since it's everything is inside. Here, let me show you something. On almost it's like this on every map.
Not as young as
Someone in particular.
Imagination is the essence
The
of
reason
this.
5 sucks here is because I cannot jump as far as I'd like to because I just hit my head on the ceiling. So the whole point of dive is like being able to engage as a whole onto one target from multiple angles, and but if except for on but you have to fight to get to point normally. I can't dive. And by the time I've arrived at my destination, at my target, Reinhardt Lucio combat would have fully killed. Because I hit my head on the wall, I such a small area that so there's ideal for each composition, but on some maps there aren't any that are good enough to make them viable. So and then I'm gonna go.
So quickly for this map. So generally, is goats, or sorry, when you're just for the initial attack, are you looking to go up top here, or do you go straight to point?
So normally I Ryan Zarya. So Ryan Zarya is probably I doubt it will actually die. I haven't been running this up and follow contenders. But yeah, you come up here, and then this is an opponent position, because this gives you LOS of the entire point, and the LOS of LOS stands for line of sight of this area.
Yeah, I know.
And you also have the health pack behind you, which are important for healers if they get maybe 75 extra healing, because it's imagine killing a Zenyatta who has 2 HP versus a Zenyatta who has 75 HP.
Yeah.
Big difference. So yeah, you normally come up here, and then Maygoats is also super strong, because in tight corners like this, a wall, since there are the three entrances to point are this door,
What about up here?
no one
I'm joking. I know, I'm joking. Wait, I can hook off of that? That's so cool.
How embarrassing.
So, you have each corridor can be done by day. Can be walled off by a May, or and then you can just collapse immediately. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to item next to just show.
And the thing about May walls holds up in all areas that have small passageways, like
Right.
King's Row, for example, was a really good May map.
I really do like King's Row as a map.
Yeah, it's really well designed. And then and then control the as simple a map design as you can get, since it's
100% power.
Since it's perfectly snug. But maps like Harbin maps in particular have probably the most variation in advantages for each point. So first point Eichenwald, for example, is probably 60-40% Reinhardt versus dive, like farmers who dive. It's good for Ryan as it shows it's really simple to do. And then if they want to come to the show, you can this corner, I can this entire but this over here, I have to move. Just hold it. It's open enough. You can isolate targets. You can either by like a Farah direct rocket or with a body shot that it does enough damage, or gives you enough of an advantage to just dive on them immediately. And it's open enough that you don't get just collapsed immediately. Nothing's gonna stop. Because the enemy team has to be spread out a little bit. And the second I'd say, although it's definitely superior to have Winston.
Imagination is
Or,
the essence
you know,
of
1 DPS will come in the second half, or the second point of I can roll, unless you're coming out on first point with, you know, grab and shadow, in which it's, you want to go to a transition comp where most of the regular DPS swap to,
Hey, babe.
wow, okay,
how
your DPS
embarrassing.
can swap to Genji Widow, and then your tanks use their ultimate but otherwise you pretty much always stay, always go into, like if you don't have any tank holds, you want to go into second point I can roll with. However, third point, it's
Dive
even
point's
more
terrible.
linear than first point because, as I said, during like the Ling Chan example, like it's entirely linear. Granted, it does have a which is, I mean, slightly better than still, so that the Reinhardt is just so much better. Like on Tiger map, on like escrow maps in particular, you pretty much have one. It's not like you go left side, right side. It's just you never see anyone coming through this passageway. Reinhardt is way more, way more powerful. So I just turned my watch sound off completely because I'm kind of worried that people won't be able to hear me
Oh, that's
in
alright.
game. Yeah. So maps. So in most maps, there's cases where certain comps are better against other comps, and on other parts of the map where it's never Overwatch is designed where it's never completely linear. And except for uh even King's Row, which is entirely dominated or mostly dominated by Vine Zarya compositions, it's not entirely unlikely to see a Winston Diva, Genji Widow, or double sniper composition on first point as attackers because of the long sightlines and the point is kind of open as well. So
Right.
yeah, that's why so most points have a a particular advantage on one one composition, but normally there's variation as to what the enemy team is playing, and you adapt not only to what they're playing, the map geometry, even to individual players, and then uh, onto that as well, there's if like one individual player is doing extremely well, like you're having a lot of trouble with a Roadhog, for example, who's just getting a ton of hooks, just he's carrying their team, or Widow that's doing a lot, you might have to swap off, a the seemingly ideal comp to deal with this one
Right.
really
So
dominant
how
player.
often? So if I am playing Diva, how often should I be looking to like dive their Widow? If the Widow's like somewhere else, is it worth it to like?
So yeah, pressure on snipers is surprisingly, I'd say, like more complicated than most people would expect because
Ooh, nice hammer.
um so 1 second, I need to like just go off the map so I can actually focus on what I'm saying. So normally when the pressure on the Widow needs to be pretty much continuous, otherwise she'll have free sights to go wherever she wants, and shoot whoever she wants. So a
Right.
Reinhardt cannot interact whatsoever with the Widow, except for a lucky fire strike and um you know a Zarya can't either with except for a um you know lobbing a couple of right clicks at her. So the DPS um on the team are normally, except for in dive, are normally doing the most of the pressure on their Widow, um where your Widow is you know peeking corners at her, so she has to focus on your Widow, otherwise she dies. Or and the same goes for like a Hanzo, where your own DPS putting the enemy Widow in the same in the same state as the enemy Widow is putting your DPS in. So it's like it's in kind of an equal um trade, or an equal opportunity for either of them to get picked. But in dive, unless the Widow's isolated from, um, in a chaotic team fight, normally one tank will go for um the Widow, but in other cases, at the start of a team fight, if the Widow is your dive target, then
Mhm.
both tanks go on her, because she'll normally, and most of the time she'll be with more like more people on her team, like an Zen or a Ana. Um, but other so okay, Jesus Christ, I don't know why it's so hard for me to focus right now. Um, when you're diving a Widow, it's your DPS need to make sure you're putting pressure on her. Your tanks need a coordinated dive on her, unless in a chaotic team fight, where one of them will probably kill her, or if she's entirely isolated, and then you only have to send one person to her, because you don't want to commit too many resources. Okay. Uh, I'm just gonna go to one other map that in open division.
And other targets. When you don't want to expend too many resources on like on a specific thing and that sort of thing. But if you can guarantee a kill,
Mhm.
like if someone's separated from the rest of the team, then it's worthwhile to commit onto that.
Yeah. Also, Chopper and Eli, feel free to contribute as much as you want to this, because um, I kind of feel like I'm rambling right now. So
You what?
if you have anything to add, because I'm recording this right now to send to the people in Uwu. If you have anything to add.
You know what we need to do? We need to play some quick play all together.
And
Anyways,
like point out things.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
That might be a
I'm
good
just gonna
goal.
go over Anubis real quick as well, because Anubis has some interesting things. Um, so
Our
Oh,
problem is we don't have any synergy in the team. Like everyone's doing their own thing, and we just need more time to play with each other,
yeah,
especially the
so
people who I don't
we're
know.
low elos.
yeah,
Yeah.
so a couple of things, I mentioned this to Alex earlier, but a couple of things that we need to do better is going into a fight knowing like our plan of attack, rather than being, we need to be like, we need to have a plan of attack before, rather than just reacting to what they're running, or what the circumstances that are presented to us. Because adapting on the spot is much harder than um having a plan going into it, and much harder to execute as a team as well. Um,
Right.
And also, what
so
I've seen a lot of is people not really knowing what you were explaining earlier. Of people not really knowing like what kind of comp or what kind of thing works on the certain map geometry. Um, and so for this map, for example, um, I was talking to someone who said that it's common to push this side, left side here,
Hmm.
when pushing point A, even if they do have a Junkrat, which can be extremely dangerous, who can just spam and get a lot of
Yeah.
ult charge. Um, so just knowing what kind of comps work well and what kind of map geometry is really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that it was if they have a Junkrat, it's bad to push there.
And generally, we won't be going into a fight. Excuse me. If we have, like that. But knowing map geometry which fits your character best, in senses of like positioning, is extremely handy. For like example, on this
So
map,
this map, for example, Widow is so good because there are so many long sight lines.
yeah, like
Um,
a widow can set up here, and then has a grapple escape to this high ground, and all the while having sightlines of the choke of this area of the staircase here, on end of the bridge where another widow might be set up. So knowing your ideal map geometry where your character really wants to set up as long range, mid range, wherever they want to be, just utilizing whatever um position you can be to get the most out of your character. So whether that means, dropping back a little from the rest of your team to get in an ideal position, or even, leaving the fight for like 2 seconds to get to high ground,
Hmm.
um, for a second, just walking up some stairs or something to get to high ground where you can be more effective, or like wall climbing, whatever it needs to be, just making sure you're in the best position to do your job. And it's not just to do your job, but to do your job in relation to what the rest of your team is doing. Double sniper, an example. It's not just which both. So like stacking your sightlines of the widow and the Hanzo together is never a good idea, because you want to have like kind of a V shape onto your target,
and
so
be
they
able
have
to
to
see as many targets as well.
yeah,
Right.
and so to be able to like so if they want to deal with one of you, like if a Winston and Diva wants to deal with one of the snipers, they have to leave their team, which exposes them further to um snipes from the other one. And you don't want to you never want your two snipers to be like in the same um location in double sniper. So just setting up your most ideal position, not just in relation to what hero you're playing, but in relation to what heroes the rest of your team is playing.
And while coordination is still pretty important, you still need to be good at your individual hero.
Yeah.
Like you need to be comfortable. Like it's important to be comfortable on the hero that you're playing.
Um.
And yeah, and there's gonna be a lot of flexing this season. So
One thing I was noticing, that like as well as going into a fight, um, without a team plan, is where we aren't all track. Like I know that most of us can all track, you know, well. It doesn't seem like we're just playing kind of. I can
yeah,
say
we
like
know the ults, but we're not doing anything about them.
I'm playing kind of in a more solo queue kind of playstyle, because as I can't. Feel like this is rude, but I kind of have to almost carry. It's like
Yeah.
I have to play pretty
Absolutely.
kind of solo, because as much as teamwork is important, this is gonna sound like a bitch thing to say, but I can't
Uh,
really, um, you know,
Trust us. Rely on
I
us.
can't really rely on you guys to do your jobs as much as I can in a grandmaster game, you know. Um, so I have to play more independent, which I should be playing, somewhat independent, but not as independent as I am.
And also doing things about calls as opposed to like hearing a call out and then just ignoring like its relevance or what it actually means. What I see a lot is someone will make a call with something along the lines of, I don't know, maybe only one healer, or somber behind, or Zarya left, no personal, something like that. where it elicits a reaction, but instead of doing something about it, people just kind of take the information and just hold on to it instead of actually acting on it, which I
Alright.
think is really important.
Yeah, so I was actually gonna talk about that as well, where it seems as though most of the time when or some of the time when there a call is made, it seems as though someone else will do it. It's not maybe it's like it's not really my
Hmm.
job to deal with that. I don't know. It's like a loose use